Hi, Diana Ermakova. Good to have you in the studio. You are Innovation Chair, International Youth Nuclear Congress. So, from your perspective, having been in the nuclear world for a while, has nuclear been perceived, is it being perceived differently over the past COPs?
Yes, my name is Dinara, and yes, I've been to 4 COPs before. This is my fourth COP, and definitely dynamic is changing because last year there've been quite a big attention to nuclear because it was hosted by the country that built 4 nuclear plants and wanted to showcase as a success story. In this case, in this year, COP is going through the same agenda. We have two pavilions. Representing nuclear, and then 2 mini booths representing smaller organizations like ours, IYNC, International Youth Nuclear Congress. And I feel proud because compared to earlier COPs, so we are perceived much better as people get more informed throughout the time. They get more nuclear gets more visibility, and as a result, people start Googling things. We add to this progress by informing what we know, sharing the knowledge with the public, and that's what we see.
So, Dinara, in terms of how nuclear is perceived, as you just presented, um, what is how is your understanding of the fear and sort of the worry that is still connected with nuclear and its safety perspectives,
Mhm.
because it is still prevalent,
Yes,
of
it
course.
is very good question, and usually we fear what we don't know.
Mm.
That's normal to humans. If we are facing something unknown or new, it's normal to have like innate fear of that thing. And nuclear is relatively new field. We have started building nuclear power plants like 70 years ago. Before that, it was nuclear physics in development, and all this nuclear medicine as well. People probably might be afraid of X-ray as well, just because the way it's been presented. But it's part of the world we live in. We have been bombarded by neutrons and gammas all the time, just because this world is kind of created by nuclear particles.
Mm.
And just communicating in the small concepts and the simpler concepts help a lot. So that's part of the solution, is to have more communication, open dialogue on what people are afraid of. And of course, it didn't help to have accidents. I have to bring it up. And not enough communication on how the accidents were managed and how we learned as an industry from those scenarios, because the industry doesn't just keep stagnant. We learn from the previous iterations. We bring new lessons learned, and we make sure that the safest procedures are implemented in the newer reactors, and existing reactors are updated to the newer standards as well. Same as in other industries.
Mm. When you mention accidents, I actually wasn't planning on asking that, but since you bring it up, we are living in a world with more climate disasters, with floods and hurricanes and other unprecedented weather events that are really destroying infrastructure. So how is the nuclear industry looking at this perspective? Because I mean, we really do not know what the next disaster is going to be like, right?
It's a good question as well, and at the same time, same as other industries, we are adapting to new models. And one of the examples I bring is that nuclear, like Vogtle power plant in Georgia. It's withstood the hurricanes that we had this year, which were destroying entire infrastructure for other energy systems, and yet the Vogtle was working stably. But at the same time, we also, as an industry, adapting to new climate models. And as a matter of fact, same as other industry, we have to adjust to those models. We get the feedback from the other industries, from the scientists, and that same natural process we learn and we implement it for newer existing plants.
So Dinara, you're working with the energy transition, and time is of course of the essence. So what is your take on the critique or the worry of the time aspect of how long it takes to get a nuclear plant, regardless of size, up and running, compared to other sources of energy, like wind, for instance, and solar? So what are your thoughts on these? I mean, this is what the discussion is very much about. For instance, in the country where we don't have time and space, Sweden.
Yeah, it's a good point. And yes, nuclear have been famous for having issues with building on time. And that's why a lot of innovations are basically implemented to make those processes efficient. But at the same time, we need to build more to shorten up the time. And I think China is one of the examples where they build at scale to the point that it's become more cost efficient, time efficient, and new startups that are focused on small modular reactors, they're trying to tackle this same issue of long construction timelines. When you have a smaller modular concept, you can build factory that builds several parts, and so you build things at the same time and then combine them on the site, and then have smaller sections to add up on the capacity. So those two sides of modularity, the modular construction concept and then modular capacity addition to the grid. With that, I think there is a big potential to shorten up the time frame that we have to, like, we're having right now, and to cut the costs in the future as well.
So the perspective of talent is it's really difficult in overall in this energy sector, regardless of what field, if it's nuclear or wind. We simply do not have enough people working getting into this field. So how do you address this in your organization?
Yes, here I represent International Youth Nuclear Congress, and of course we see a lot of challenges in having the pipeline of talent to bring to that transition. And for example, in the United States, White House announced that we need to bring another 200 gigawatts of nuclear by 2050, which is massive increments of energy.
So there's a lack of engineers, huh?
Well, lack of everything. You need to basically restart the entire industry from scratch, pretty much, because right now we have 100 gigawatt in the United States, and then we need to triple that in terms of the talent, in terms of the capacity as well. So we're facing the same challenge as any other clean energy field, and basically bringing people, getting them interested in this sustainable field. Right now I see a lot of requests for mentorship and to talk about this nuclear and in general clean energy sector. I see people coming from consulting, from automotive, from other industries, just because right now they didn't have enough information that there are pathways for their talent to be implemented in other field of sustainability. So I guess that's part of the outreach. In IYNC, we try to bring more talent together, bring collaborative environment, and foster that collaborative environment across different organizations. And here at COP, we actually were able to bring Yongo together with us, UNIDO, IEEE to work with us at the same booth and communicate to the public the various benefits of very diverse energy grid and other solutions that can bring sustainability to their countries. So with that collaborative environment, first we can outreach to more young talents from different disciplines, not only nuclear. And one of the misconceptions of nuclear career is that you need to be a nuclear engineer. That's not true. As any industry, again, we need a lot of economists, a lot of finance people, business people, communicators. That's one of the big opportunity right now. I see all the specialities and people of different backgrounds are needed in the field, same as any other big industry that foreseeing a big growth.
So Dinara, you are originally from, you're now residing in California, but you're originally from Kazakhstan, from this country.
Yes.
So how is your perception of the COP, in general, from your perspective? How has it been?
Here in Azerbaijan.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's close to Kazakhstan.
Yes.
So I mean, it's in your region. Yes.
Exactly, and I see a lot of value in bringing this big conferences to regions that were underseen before or underestimated. And here I see this COP is more focused on Central Asia because, of course, we're rich in resources that are needed for transition. Kazakhstan has entire periodic table, and there is a lot of interest for rare earth materials that are
not just oil.
Not just oil, but the rare earth materials. And I think that's one of the things that we need to communicate, how much materials are needed for that transition that we're talking about. and how to make that transition just, because of course I see Kazakhstan as a big partner in that particular topic, but at the same time I see a downside of it, because it's like country being exploited for natural resources. How we can implement more circular economy practices for all this transition technologies. How can we bring more talent to my country to benefit from that transition as well? So with that in mind, I think it's fantastic that we can host it within Central Asia and have that communication and make people see how it is, how great it is in Central Asia overall.
Well, thank you very much, Dinara Ermakova, for joining us here.
Thank you.